Hi folks, Dedi Kristan Haritonang is here, and in today's lesson, I'm going to talk about types of sentences in English. In my previous video, I have already presented to you dependent and independent clauses. I really hope that you watch that video because your understanding about dependent and independent clauses will be a good fundamental to understand this lesson. I hope you are willing to spend your time watching this video from it starts until it finishes, and you are also willing to share it so that many people can watch this video, and you are also willing to subscribe to my channel. Okay, what is a sentence? In my previous video, I defined a sentence as a group of words that contains at least a subject and a verb. But today, I have other additional parts. So a sentence is not just a group of words that contains at least a subject and a verb. It has to fulfill two other requirements. In other words, a sentence should form a complete and logical meaning, and a sentence should end with a period, a question mark, or an exclamation mark. Okay, I have several items here to present to you. Banana book run beautiful too. The question is it a sentence or not? Okay, it's a group of words, but if we analyze, there is no subject and a verb here, so it's not a sentence. What about an apple? It's a pillow. It's a group of words, yes. It has a subject and a verb. An apple is the subject. A verb here, it's is the verb here. But since it is not or it does not have complete or logical meaning, then this is not a sentence. It is impossible for an apple to eat a pillow. So this is not a sentence. Bob has spoken to his manager. What do you think? Is this a sentence? Yes, the answer is yes, this is a sentence. It has a subject and a verb. Of course, it is a group of words. It has a subject and a verb. Bob is the subject, has spoken is the verb, and it has a complete and logical meaning. And also, it is ended with a period. Okay, what about the word go? What do you think? Is this a sentence? Surprisingly, it is yes, it is a sentence. Now, this might be a little bit unique because it is only one word, it is not a group of words, but actually, this has the one that is called a hidden subject. This is an imperative sentence, so this is a sentence. And when I say go, that means you go, which is a hidden subject. All right, and you go, it is a group of words. You is the subject, go is the verb, and it forms a logical meaning. So that is why, as I stated earlier, it's called a sentence too. Now let's move to the first type of sentence. It's called simple sentence. I'm going to show you several characteristics of simple sentence. Okay, it must have a subject and a verb. It must express a complete thought, and it must only have one independent clause. So a simple sentence must have one independent clause only. Okay, this is the example. The match was thrilling. The match is the subject, and was X out as the verb. So a simple sentence, and this is also at the same time is an independent clause. In my previous video, we conclude that an independent clause is just the same as a sentence. Okay, the second example of simple sentence, I ran out of paper for the assignment. I is the subject, ran out is the verb, and this is an independent clause as well. The third one, can you pass the salt please? Okay, it's an interrogative sentence, and it is also called as simple sentence because it has a subject and a verb, it expresses a complete thought, and there is only one independent clause in this sentence. The fourth example, he scored the winning goal in the match. He is the subject, scored is the verb. It has a full meaning or a complete meaning, and he scored the winning goal in the match. It is one independent clause. Now, the second type of sentence that I'm going to share to you is compound sentence. Compound sentence must consist of at least two independent clauses. So these two independent clauses should have related ideas. They have to connect to each other. And you need also to understand that the independent clauses that are in compound sentence, they can be joined or they can be related to each other using a coordinating conjunction, a correlative conjunction, a semicolon, a dash, or a conjunctive adverb. To exemplify, I have the sentence here: I drink tea, but my brother drinks coffee. This is one sentence only, and this single sentence consists of two independent clauses. I drink tea is the independent clause. My brother drinks coffee. This is also the independent clause. The word but in this sentence is called a coordinating conjunction. Okay, so this is a compound sentence. Either I will send the letter or my sister will. As you see, there are two independent clauses in this sentence. I will send the letter and my sister will. You don't have to write my sister will send the letter because it's already understandable here. It's called ellipsis. You omit some parts of a sentence. In one sentence, you can remove several parts because they are understandable. And either and or here belongs to correlative conjunction. Correlative conjunction are conjunctions that come in pairs. Either or, neither nor, not only but also, both and. They are all correlative conjunctions. Okay, the next example. They don't eat meat, they are vegetarians. This is one compound sentence that consists of two independent clauses. They don't eat meat, first independent clause. They are vegetarians, second independent clause. And these two independent clauses are joined by a a semicolon. Okay, this is what is meant by a semicolon. Okay, I can rewrite the same sentence, but this time I'm using a dash. They don't eat meat, they are vegetarians. Okay, this is what I mean by a dash. So as you can see here, these are various uses of markers or punctuations to indicate that two independent clauses can be formed together to form a compound sentence. Okay, this is the fifth example. Bob didn't prepare himself. As a result, he failed at the test. Okay, Bob didn't prepare himself. This is the first independent clause. He failed at the test. This is the second independent clause. They are joined by, this is what we call as a conjunctive adverb, as a result. As a result means um, the effect or the first clause, John didn't prepare himself, is the cause, and the effect is the second clause. He failed at the test. Okay, now let's move on to the third type of sentence, which is called as complex sentence. A complex sentence must contain one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. They can be introduced or connected by subordinating conjunctions. Again, in my previous video, I have already introduced to you a little bit about subordinating conjunctions. Okay, so these are some examples. If you keep exercising, you will be able to maintain a healthy weight. Okay, one complex sentence consisting of one independent clause. You will be able to maintain a healthy weight. This is one independent clause. And at least one dependent clause. If you keep exercising, that's the dependent clause. In the meanwhile, the word if is the example of subordinating conjunctions. The next example, remove the cake from the oven when it is brown. All right, remove the cake from the oven. This is the independent clause. When it is brown, this is the dependent clause, which is marked by the presence of subordinating conjunction. Remember that when an independent clause is at the beginning of the sentence, there is no comma needed. But when the dependent clause comes preceding the independent clause, as it happens in sentence number one, there is a comma needed. Okay, the third examples. Because I had to catch a train as we were in a hurry, I forgot to bring my toothbrush. Again, guys, this is only one single sentence, but this single sentence consists of several clauses. Okay, my question, which one is independent clause? Which one is the dependent clause? Okay, the independent clause is I forgot to bring my toothbrush because it can stand alone. It forms a complete meaning. While because I had to catch the train and as we were in a hurry, they are all dependent clauses. They are characterized by subordinating conjunction because and as respectively. So because and as, they are subordinating conjunctions. Okay, the next examples. I know that you always wanted to become a writer. I know that you always wanted to become a writer. One complex sentence consisting of one independent clause. So this is it. I know is the independent clause, and the rest that you always wanted to become a writer is the dependent clause. The subordinated conjunction in this sentence is the word that. Now let's move to the last part of the type of sentence. It's called compound complex sentence. A compound complex sentence must have at least two independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses. So again, there are at least two independent clauses, so you must have two independent clauses in your hand and at least one dependent clause to form compound complex sentence. While I was writing the article, James was sleeping and Bob was watching television. Okay, quite a long sentence. But again, this is only one sentence. Okay, let's find out the two independent clauses. What are they? All right, you are right. James was sleeping, the first independent clause, and Bob was watching television. This is the second independent clause. While I was writing the article, this is a dependent clause which cannot stand alone, and it is marked by the presence of conjunction or subordinating conjunction one. Okay, again, this is the subordinating conjunction which forms the dependent clause. The second and the third part of the sentence, they are all independent clauses. Now I'm going to give you the next example, another long sentence. The girl was crying because she could not sell her flowers until evening, but when the gentleman bought the entire flower basket, she became happy. Again, this is only one sentence. This is one compound complex sentence. Alright, let's take a look at each part of this sentence. The girl was crying. The first element of the sentence is the independent clause. And the word because, this is subordinating conjunction. Because she could not sell her flowers until evening, this is the dependent clause. But it belongs to coordinating conjunction. And when is subordinating conjunction. When the gentleman bought the entire flower basket, this is the dependent clause. And the last part, she became happy, which is an independent clause. As you see, the girl was crying because she could not sell her flowers until evening, but when the gentleman bought the entire flower basket, she became happy. Consists of two independent clauses, all right, two independent clauses, and there are also two dependent clauses. So this is the example of compound complex sentence. It fulfills all the requirements here, two independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses. So this is the end of my video explanation. I hope that this topic is useful to you. Don't forget to post comments or questions. I'll be very happy to answer that, and I'll try my best to help you out. And please always watch my video from it starts until it finishes. I hope you guys are willing to subscribe to my channel. See you again in my next video. Stay healthy. Thank you.